I remember how much of my life, my childhood was seeing, you on All in the Family and how that was a cultural event. You being on Johnny Orr, your films on SNL. You talked about it. It would happen it would happen, and then you'd all talk about it. My friends who were into comedy and I would talk about it in Brookline, Mass.
Well, think about this. Talk about appointment television. Saturday Night Live, when it first came on, that's a Saturday night. And you had to watch it when it was on, and it was it was on 11:30 and 11:30 and on the West Coast. Kids, young people in parties would stop whatever they were doing and watch Saturday night, and that.
Also, I think we have to bring this up because it's in the doc, and it's something I did not know, which is that you were approached by Lorne
and Dick Ebersol.
Dick Ebersol, wonderful man.
You have a great love for him, don't you? I know about
his knowledge of comedy is stunning.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's on the Rushmore. He's been on Mount Rushmore. But anyway, those guys approached you about building SNL around you, and you said, you said, I think that's a mistake.
Well, here's the thing. It's 50 years ago, and maybe Lorne has another memory of it, but it wasn't that complicated. In the fall of 1974, I went to a meeting, and they said, because that was Johnny Carson's rerun night, and they said, we're going to stop doing that. We're going to put an original show. We want to do it live from New York, and we'd like it to be Albert Brooks' show. You would be the host. Now, I had flirted with television twice before, and thank God, the way the life works, I didn't do it. One, about 2.5 years earlier, I got offered my own summer show on CBS, 6 shows. And it was going to be the Albert Brooks show. What kind of show will it be? I was, really starting to think. There were offices. We got offices. And then I was asked to, Carol Burnett, who was the big CBS star, was honored. Yeah. And I was asked to perform at the event, and I didn't have a lot of stuff. I had bits that I did from the road, one of which was on my album, Comedy -1, not to be confused with Godzilla -1. Somebody said, "Is that where you play part of a monster?" I said, I don't have any. Yeah. But so I performed at that, and I did this bit that I did on my record where if you're a comedian and you're performing in the South and you're bombing, then you have that fail-safe, you dig deep and you come out and you pronounce it clearly and you somehow get out the word shit. And that turns everything around. They laugh for 20 minutes. Yeah. I said people run out, they build a statue in the park, And so basically it was shit saved my life. So the next day I get a call, and William Paley called my agency and said, "This foul-mouthed young man will not appear on my network."
Yeah. Wow.
So I didn't do that.
Yeah.
So, and then earlier on, I was going to do a sitcom that I backed out of in a meeting where that was already a go. Aaron Spelling was producing it. It was a whole season approved. And Michael Eisner, the last question, said, "Well, let me ask Albert, though, what do you see for this character in 5 years?" And I said, "Suicide." And I stood up and I said, "I'm not ready. This is not going to work." And I left, and the agents followed me into the elevator, and one of them said, you should wait. And the other said, "I don't think he should do it." And so after those two, I was done with television. I wanted to make movies. So I wasn't going to do the Albert Brooks show, but I also thought that they were talking to somebody from Los Angeles. And when they said we're doing a live show at 11:30 in New York, to me, live meant nothing. it was no live. I didn't see anything that I wasn't supposed to see. If somebody in New York said a swear word, it was,
You mean like shit?
it was cut out long before I saw it. So I had a couple of thoughts. I said, well, wouldn't it make more sense? I mean, The Tonight Show in essence is live. They never stop. What if you did one at 4:30 and one at 7:30 and put the best together to air? But they wanted live, and obviously it worked. It was but I knew that I would be John Belushi. I'd be on 8 grams of Coke. I'm not good starting at 11:30. It's why I hated The Road.
Yeah.
I never got that third show at midnight. It just didn't make sense to me. It was too late, too much. So I said, and I said, every show has the same host. You should use different hosts each week. So they said, okay, well, thanks for coming in. Then 4 months went by. They hadn't done anything yet. They came back to me. We want you associated with the show. What do you want to do? I said, I want to do short films. Yeah. So I made an agreement to do it. I did them here. And for that, in the spring of 75, Lorne and I did the national junket. Mm-hmm. In those days, they would take the Sheraton Universal, and every reporter would have a different room, and they'd set up the rooms so they could pretend you came to them.
Yes.
So you'd walk into a room, there'd be this fake palm tree. Albert Brooks, welcome to Fort Lauderdale. Thank you. Wow, it's sweaty out there. They loved if you played along.
Sure, yeah.
And it was the same interview. So you're going to make short films for a new show? I am. What's the show about? I don't really know. Here's the producer, ask Lorne. And he didn't know at that moment. Mm-hmm. What's the show about? Well, we're going to have the new kind of comedy, and it's going to be new and that. So then from that point, Lorne got his primetime players, and he built this show that has been the longest running show in television. So obviously he did it perfectly, but that's the way it went down.